And we are live. What's good, Joshua, man? D. Hussein, welcome. I really want to know podcast. Y'all know I'll be running sluggish sometimes. I'm running sluggish today. Sometimes you just have a bad day, man. Like sometimes your day just starts off wrong. My day started off wrong, and it's just been like, and I'm actually working with a group just to work on anger management. And I ain't gonna lie, man. Sometimes the group is what you need, and sometimes you're sitting there like this is a waste of time. Like I have an hour clock, right? An old school hour clock with sand, and whenever the meeting starts, I always turn that hour clock, sit back. But this time I really wasn't. The session went kind of fast, and people do what they do to kind of get through. But anyway, what's up with y'all, man? How y'all feeling? Just checking the audio. Sounds like the audio is good out there. We're actually on Facebook. First time I've ever been on Facebook live, guys. I don't really do stuff on Facebook, but like I said, it's 2026. We trying to go hard over here. Facebook, I'm going to be on X. I'm going to be Instagram live. I'm just kind of slowly building up. I want to go all out this year just to see what we can do. And because we know that, yeah, man, you know, people don't like some people don't like this content. Dr. B's in the house. What's good, fam? Congratulations on the timepiece, man. Congrats on the timepiece, man. I gotta hit you up on Telegram. I want to see that. I bet you got a sweet deal too, bro. Did you pick that up? If you don't mind me asking, did you pick that Rolex two-tone Submariner? Did you pick that up brand new, or did you get it on the gray market? And I know there's some deals out there right now. Those deals are only going to get better. If you have cash, man, I've been watching a lot of Brandon Carter's content. I'm going to definitely do a show. I like his political take, and I like what he's putting out there right now. And if you guys don't know who Brandon is, man, you're going to find out because I'm going to put him on. I'm going to, highlight a lot of his content. But, yeah, man, gray market. Yeah, 2021. I know you got a sweet deal, bro. I know you got a sweet deal. Rolexes, man, they're not giving them away, but boy, oh boy, you talk about a market that corrected. The Rolex, like the timepiece, like Rolexes have really corrected to pretty much where they should have been the whole time. And like, bro, are you seeing the prices on Omega and Breitling? Like, bro, Tudor, like it's yeah. If you have some extra cash right now, you do have a timepiece collection, a watch collection. Yeah, over the next, I think 6 to 8 months, you want to get out there and see, you know what I mean? I will 100% message you, bro. As soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna hit you up. I definitely want to, I would like to see that. I bet you it's nice, man. Like it's probably the most accurate watch I've had in terms of keeping time. Yeah, Rolex makes a good product, man. And for those of you who, don't really like new to the market or whatever, that world, Tudor is their sister company. And it's like the same watch. The Black Bay chronograph is what I have my eye on. It's going to be a while before I pull a trigger on that. It's just too much going on. But if I came into a ton of money, like if I wake up tomorrow, I hit the lotto and I got like $10 million liquid, and it would take that much for me to go out there and splurge on some like a timepiece or something right now, bro. Because I'm like I'm doing what Brandon Carter is saying, man. I want to put every dollar I can away, waiting for some really good deals out here in every market possible. But anyway, the Tudor is a really good timepiece. The Oris is a really good timepiece, man. Like it really keeps an amazing time. But yeah, bro. I got a Breitling Super Ocean. I had an Omega Speedmaster. I actually had to sell my Omega. Like I said, but I'm trying to stack up some cash over. I had to actually sell my Omega, which sucked, man. It was like my first timepiece ever. You know what I mean? You kind of you can't allow yourself to get attached to objects like that, but we do. But yeah, man. Yeah, so you got a collection, man. Congratulations, man. That's what's up, man. They are definitely underrated. I don't even know why Omega is underrated. That's the James Bond watch. That's the moon watch. And that's what I had. I had the moon watch. And I mean, when you buy those, I bought mine new. I mean, it comes with so much, like just the way they present the watch, the box it comes in is huge and all the stuff that they give you. I mean, I tell you what, man, I mean, it's like if you really know Swiss makes the best automatic time watches in the world. Hey man, like Swiss watchmakers are crazy, but that man, there's so many other watches out there. There's one I just can't think of their name right now, but um I mean, maybe we'll do another episode, man. Maybe I'll hit up there's a brother who's like really into watches. He hasn't really been doing anything on his platform. Like we've collabed before. Maybe I'll reach out to him. Needs Watches, I think is what he was calling himself. But man, there's some deals out there. There you go. Thank you. That's what I was thinking. Seikos, man. Thank you. They have a very loyal following. Like, if you get you a nice Seiko, plus they look good and they keep really good time. Yeah, man. But they have a loyal following, and those things hold their value if you get certain models. But we're definitely gonna, man. Again, congratulations, brother. I'm glad you got that, man. I know you're happy. That's what's up, and I hope you get more deals. More deals. Again, if you're on Facebook checking us out, appreciate you over there. It's the first time I've ever broadcast on Facebook. I'm definitely gonna get more active on Facebook. I mean, that's like where the older folks are, like old folks like me, like my people. So I appreciate y'all. Hope to see y'all. And today we're going to talk about Fresh&Fit being demonetized. And the question is, should the Fresh&Fit platform be remonetized? That's what we're going to talk about. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. Drill's in the building. What's good, man? Drill. Welcome, man. Glad to have you. As you know, man, Drill's my go-to when I get any questions about weapons, ammo, anything like that. Man, Drill's a go-to, man. Former Green Beret weapons sergeant. The guy was on the teams. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, man. Let's definitely get into this. What's going on with Fresh&Fit? I found a platform, Jones in Finance, I think is the name of the platform, a smaller platform, kind of like myself. He might have a few hundred less subscribers than I do. I don't know how long he's been around. I'm definitely going to reach out to his brother because I would love to talk finance, with someone who kind of like is in that space or kind of follows that space. So, I'm definitely going to reach out to him. Hopefully we can get him on here and we can kind of collab. It would be great to do. But he has a show. He's talking about Fresh&Fit. Not a show, but he has a video that he put out. He's talking about Fresh&Fit. And I saw the video, just happened to pop up in my queue when he first put it out about a week ago or so. And, of course, you got people who really don't like Fresh&Fit. So they see something like this and it's like blood in the water and they start attacking and saying whatever. But it got me to thinking. It's like, oh, what's really going on with YouTube? And, the thing is this. YouTube can do what they want. Obviously, it's their platform. They can do what they want to do. People who've been around for a long time, not me, but those people who've been around, they were around when YouTube first started, and there were really no guardrails, right? I mean, you had to do some really foul stuff for YouTube to kick you off their platform. But now, especially after, the pandemic and all that, now, YouTube is just kicking people off left and right for crazy reasons or no reason at all. And again, that's their right. This is their business, their company. This is their platform. They can do what they want to do. But people remember. It's like, so we're going to get into what's going on with Fresh&Fit. Fresh put out some on X. He's talking about trying to get remonetized and, because they've been demonetized forever. And it kind of gets into the numbers and people can't get an idea of how much money YouTube is really leaving on the table here. It's kind of crazy. And all it is what they want to do is break the platform. Just imagine Fresh&Fit fighting against YouTube and YouTube is just trying to break their platform. And I have my takes on it, of course. I'm sitting here, guys. I'm looking, this is the first time I've done this simul stream on Facebook, I believe. And so if someone sends in a message from Facebook, I can read it. I think there's so much information they pop up here, and it's kind of messing up my, my normal setup. I'm like, okay, how can I make this go away? Can I get rid of that? And I can't. So I'm gonna have to spend some more time on here to figure out exactly what's going on. But that's just me trying to handle this side. That's what my producer had on. But let's check out this video. And, I kind of skipped ahead in the video. This is about a 26-minute video. I skipped ahead about 4 minutes, but they kind of, he starts getting into the numbers. And this guy doesn't seem to be an anti-fresh and fit person. This guy seems to be just kind of neutral and just going through the information. This is why I wanted to highlight it. So yeah, let's get into it. And he's talking about Fresh and Fit trying to get remonetized after 3 years. Wow, it's been 3 years. I've been doing this for 4 years. So I fell down the red pill rabbit hole, I guess, a year before that. So wow, Fresh and Fit has been demonetized for 3 years. That's a lot of money, man. Here we go. Let's check this out.
This number could easily doubled or tripled. I mean, that's potential expectations, right? You can't do future PE. YouTube is losing $1 to $3 million a year, enforcing outdated rules while similar channel. And here's the thing: like, you can't, like,
you know what? I jumped ahead too far. Let's run it back. Let's run it back a little bit.
And now are eligible for full ad.
Let's run it back a little bit. Here we go.
I don't know if they completely always have political takes, but most of the time it always is like a relationship podcast. I feel like you can claim that. We've been demonetized since August of 2023, reapplied to the YouTube partner program multiple times and denied without a clear response or direct dialogue. So we've been forced to go public. I don't know about you guys, but waiting in the private shadows for like 3 years without rechanging your platform, that doesn't make much sense, right? I think Pearl completely rebranded and got rid of everything that was potentially controversial. Sneeko was initially demonetized or terminated. Actually, his plan, his channel was terminated, which, YouTube didn't even just not pay him. They just completely wiped off his channel, but he got reinstated because it was the initial like COVID issue. Anyways, in January 2026.
So right there, that part, I can tell you for a fact that what Fresh was trying to do and what the Fresh and Fit platform was trying to do was work behind the scenes with YouTube and give them what they wanted. Because when YouTube comes for you, man, they really don't give you reasons. They kind of give you vague statements, and you try to get a hold of someone and figure out what they're doing. If you're at my level, if you got a platform and you got less than 3,000 subscribers, you're not pulling down millions and millions of views a month, you're not going to get to talk to a human. You can go back and forth to your heart's content with their AI, right? But you're not going to talk to a human. And most of the stuff that YouTube is doing is it's all automated. So what Myron and Fresh were trying to do was, hey, tell us what y'all don't like. Tell us what you want us to change, and we'll change it. And they began to make some changes. When they got demonetized for actions that Myron took on other platforms. Myron was on other platforms doing wild shit. And that's what got them in trouble, especially the second time. And then every time they would try to come back, Myron would go do something or say something, it would go viral. And, then you realize what's going on. They just don't like Fresh and Fit, more to the point they don't like Myron. So they did try to change stuff. They were quietly working with a human that was attached to YouTube, and they were basically doing everything that YouTube asked them to do. And then they'll say, okay, what now? And then YouTube will come up with another reason for not monetizing them instead of just telling them the truth. If I were, people look at it and like, well, why won't YouTube just tell them the truth? Because the truth really is censorship. The reason they don't want Fresh and Fit is they don't like their reach. They don't like their message. And that's the bottom line. So my thing is your platform, tell them, we don't want your platform. We don't want your content on our platform. We're demonetizing you because of that. We don't like your content. But they don't want to do that because now you're in the censorship, and that's a very slippery slope. And people are going to be looking at that, and it's like, well, they can get rid of a platform as big as Fresh and Fit, well over 1 million subscribers, one of the highest earners on the platform. boy, they wouldn't hesitate to get rid of me. So now you got to do what they tell you to do if you're trying to make money. So they did everything they could behind the scenes trying to make it work. So, oh boy, it's like, well, it took 3 years and didn't come forward because they were really working in good faith with YouTube. And every time they did something, YouTube would say that's not enough or move the goalpost, so to speak. So let's keep going.
YouTube updated their advertiser-friendly guidelines, non-graphic discussions, dramatizations, controversial sensitive topics, domestic abuse, sexual harassment, self-harm, suicide, abortion, and now are eligible for full ad revenue. YouTube called old rules too restrictive. We restructured to compliant to financial content with 0 strikes, and yet we were denied on January 26. We restructured to compliant financial content. Am I crazy? They didn't do that. Anyways, part 2. YouTube is losing $1.2 million a year in shared revenue. Now,
A lot
yes,
of money.
YouTube is going to be losing out, but also they're not going to be immediately excited to get that kind of branding, right? $2 million is a rounding error to Google. YouTube's owned by Google. They make $10 trillion. It is what it is. So, arguing that whole $1 to $2 million isn't really. I mean, yes, you could say that, but if anything, you should say that your business is being financially impacted. Pre-monetization, August 2023, Fresh&Fit was the #1 super chatted channel in the United States, generating $1 to $2 million a year in super chats. You have to give them that. They were on their grind, and they just got halted, which is another reason that they weren't having like a strategic business plan, right? Like you would think that being that you were tied or solely tied to this platform, that you would have moved a little bit smarter. Demonetization ended that for both sides. If Fresh&Fit were not demonetized, this number could have easily doubled or tripled. I mean, that's potential expectations, right? You can't do future PE. YouTube is losing $1 to $3 million a year, enforcing outdated rules while similar channel. And here's the thing: like you can't YouTube doesn't care about money. They could just make more ads. Like they could always crank up ads on like everyone's channels. Attach super channel rankings from Playboard slash Social Blade, #1 US AdSense screenshots showed pre-2023 high. Okay, so this is what we were looking for, right? October of 2020 to August 2023. Look at this, right? These are going to be monthly payouts. This is their AdSense site. So let me get out of the way. These guys went from making $150,000 monthly, jeez, straight to nothing. Just halted. 1,000 was their last.
Yo, y'all see that? Like they were doing really well, and people were saying, "Oh, Fresh&Fit is broke." They're faking and this and that. Nah, man, they were bringing in cash. They were bringing in cash, and that influx. Think about that, guys. You go from, like Myron and Fresh were doing all right. Myron was working for the government before he left the government to do his fitness channel, or his fitness business full time. But Myron was making 6 figures. When he was in the government, he's probably making about somewhere between 120, 150, probably when you add in cost of living, you add in all the extras, that they get. That's decent. That's decent. I mean, that's air traffic controllers were doing that, you know what I mean? So, like, especially he was in the middle of Texas, like that's a lot of money for where he was. So when he walked away, he was doing better than that. So when he walked away from the government, he was making probably twice, if not 3 times that, right? With his fitness business. All right, cool. Fresh was working for different companies, working a lot of overtime. Fresh had mentioned over the years that, he was probably making like 6 figures, doing well, living in Miami, single, no kids. He was married for a hot second, but luckily he got out of that without getting, beat up too bad, but it did cost him some money. So both these guys were, making 6 figures and kind of doing their thing. And when you add in taxes and all that, like 6 figures, like you're doing okay. You can't even say you're comfortable really, but you're doing okay. Like 6 figures in Miami is decent, but they're in Brickell. Right. So like one of the most expensive places in South Florida. And they're paying. It's not like they were in LA or New York, like where it's like crazy expensive, right? So they're doing okay. It's not like they're sitting on millions before the Fresh&Fit podcast, but they were doing good. No kids, single men doing their thing. This money started hitting with Fresh&Fit. They do this podcast. They didn't know each other. They came together. They put out this podcast. And it just hit and it took off. They were making so much money. Like, look at this. You know, you're looking at, $150,000 on average per month. Yo, that's a lot of bread. That's a lot of bread. And both of them had really good credit, excellent credit. So they're able to take this money and really parlay that into whatever. And I'm pretty sure that they structured Fresh and Fit. At least I hope they did. Put up some sort of corporate structure on either C corp or S corp or whatever. Hopefully LLC at the least. But they had people, they had accountants, they had folks that were helping them out. So they were taking this money in, and Myron was buying property, Fresh was buying property, but Fresh was like buying clothes and cars and all that. So they were doing all right. And you look at it, it's like, man, we're doing good. We're doing good. Like, yeah, I'll go out here and get me a car. I'll go out here and get, some jewelry, some clothes, take a trip or whatever. Look how much money we're bringing in. And this, I don't even think this accounts for the brand deals that they were getting and all the other stuff that they were doing. Like, they would have their parties and stuff like this. So Fresh and Fit were making a ton of money. And YouTube was making a ton of money, right? So it just kind of shows you, like, it's like, okay, as we get into this, man, hopefully we'll see like exactly, okay, why did they get demonetized? We'll get into it, but just look at, bro, they were extremely successful. They're still successful now. Are they pulling in those numbers? No, but they're still doing okay. Like, the company, the brand is doing well, but let's continue.
Payout just is stopped. So you can see why they're asking for this remonetization application to even be approved, right? All right, section number 3. YouTube violates its own policy to deny Fresh and Fit monetization. YouTube's guidelines explicitly limit the YPP eligibility and review for submitting. Now, there's going to be a lot of channels that have been banned, false positives, reused content, AI content, impersonation content. So you having a constant back-end reapplication and not talking to anyone public, especially Team YouTube on Twitter, which is the #1 platform where people say to reach out. I feel like, you should have, I don't know, if you're in the network, I feel like you should be able to reach out and get told what to fix on the platform. Direct quotes from YouTube's policy. We have no community guideline strikes for the channel, but that's sort of active 3. Our automated systems and human reviewers will review your channel as a whole to make sure that the channel follows policies and guidelines. Channels will lose monetization when they violate any of the YouTube policies. This policy applies to the channel as a whole. Fresh and Fit has 0 strikes, 0 warnings, and full compliance, and yet has denied based on 2 harassment warnings. Debunked below. Okay, so he's going to talk about actually what happened, right? Imported from Myron Gaines X. Oh, that's another thing, right? Because they had association with the Fresh and Fit brand. I'm not too sure if Myron's channel, the Myron Gaines channel, is monetized, or even the Fresh, channel. Let me know in the comments. A non-submitted channel created on 2021, 20 months before any restrictions. The only exception is a cross-channel effect circumvention. Yeah, so this is what is going to affect why they're not being monetized on other platforms or on other channels, right? Because if you're demonetized on one, it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter, where you're at. If YouTube finds out that you're trying to find a way around it, they're just going to ensure that those channels are also demonetized. This requires,
before the Myron Gaines X channel, he was doing that Fed Reacts channel where he was, reviewing federal criminal cases and just kind of going over stuff like, the 6ix9ine stuff or YNG Young Boy or whatever those names are. He would go over their criminal cases. I thought that was a really good show. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, that was, you really got to learn something. Like, he's actually going out, he's getting affidavits, man. He's getting warrants, he's getting all this stuff, and he's reading it. Like, he's getting transcripts, reading what's going on in the hearings. I thought that was really cool. He was doing that while doing Fresh and Fit. So Fresh and Fit gets demonetized. I think they demonetized his Fed Reacts channel. And Fresh had a channel where he was doing this thing, and I think that got demonetized too. I was under the understanding that, well, they were kind of like all under the same banner anyway. It's kind of like here, I Really Want to Know podcast, and then I also have that Through the Red Pill Lens, which is under this platform. So if this gets demonetized, the other one gets affected and vice versa. But even on that Fair Reacts channel, Myron wasn't wilding out, right? The Fresh and Fit platform got in trouble for what Myron Gaines was doing on other people's platforms, completely away from the Fresh and Fit brand. That's what I mean. That's what you get in trouble for. It's just kind of like when they were on TikTok and they kept getting banned on TikTok for saying stuff like, you should punish a woman's bad behavior when it comes to dating if she stands you up, blah 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 blah. They got banned for that. And I'm thinking, I'm looking, I'm like, really? Like that's crazy. That's why I've never been on TikTok. Let's keep going.
Post restriction evasion intent after demonetization with the Myron X predates the restrictions by 20 months. So that doesn't necessarily matter, right? The circumvention is just to ensure that you're not on the platform as a whole. I don't think YouTube actually cares whether you were there before or after. Even if imported, these rules don't justify denial. YouTube's own policies distinguish warnings from strikes and confirm isolation warnings impose no penalties. All right, so the direct quotes from YouTube's policies preventing this. Now, the issue with all of the guidelines that YouTube has set, all of the rules that they set, is that the house will always win, right? Because it doesn't, it's a little minute, it's a little gray, and it's an overall gray area, which is, pretty unfortunate. Strikes, not warnings, trigger the events. First strike, 1 week penalty. Now, the thing again with this is that there have been many channels that have been banned without any strikes, right? It just happens. One day, some channels wake up and they're just gone. It's all over Reddit. It's all over Twitter, right? The one strike, the three strike warning and you're out sort of doesn't really carry over. Have no community guideline strikes. Okay, so this whole thread is him actively talking about the guideline strikes, which this part right here, this financial aspect right here of how much they were making, $150,000 a month. That's crazy to even miss out on, bro. I know y'all would have been smarter, right? If I told you you're making $150,000, yeah, I promise you'd been smarter. Okay, so
And that, you know what, I gotta agree with dude on that. And that's one of the things, it's like, bro, you bringing in some bread. I'm definitely gonna pay attention to my content. Like, I'm definitely gonna protect that. Um, but Myron has this thing with free speech, and this is what it cost him. Like you talk millions of dollars to be a martyr for free speech. And it's like they're letting you be free with your speech. They're letting you say whatever you want to say. They're just not letting you get any money. And Fresh on the other side of that, like Fresh is really, I bet you if you sat him down and just talked to him, he was like, bro, I don't care about that free speech stuff, man. We were making bread. What's going on? Let's run the business. If you're gonna give us guardrails and give us guidelines for the business, I want to comply with the business so we can make this money and keep our message out there. Again, when I first discovered Fresh and Fit, I thought that was a really good platform. With sexual dynamics, today's sexual marketplace, like what's really going on in the trenches. Yeah, they went on, they went off on crazy tangents, like the thing with Abba and Preach, and they went in like, oh, we're gonna cook and we're gonna start roasting these people, and they just start, getting into that, saying things. It's like, all right, that's cool. I don't agree with that, but just stick to the money. That's me. Like, bro, just stick to the basics. And then, of course, as they continue to go forward, Myron really came out with, his political views, and that's what really got them in trouble. Cody is King is in the building. What's good, fam? How you feeling? Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. That's what they do. And I'm not disagreeing at all with that, bro. What you're saying right there. This is how it works. And they kind of want people to be a certain way. I see that, I see that in our court system. I see that in the judicial system. I see that in the family court system. I see that in the criminal law system. Like it's the sheep, man, the weaklings have taken over. Now, I get not liking Fresh and Fit's content. I understand that. But if you're going to run a business and they haven't violated your rules and you want to remove them, just tell them we want to remove you because we don't like your content. You just tell them, but they don't want to do that for fear of getting crucified by the media. Let's keep going.
Showing here that their review or the reason that they weren't accepted for monetization is harassment. So harassment defined right here in the article shows content threatens individuals or insults them based on intrinsic attributes such as their protected group status, physical traits is not allowed on YouTube. I mean, I haven't watched their content, but I'm going to guess a lot of this. Hold on. Myron gives guests a reality check about her unrealistic dating standards. Ghetto auntie checks the disrespect from viral jawbreaker girl and gets heated. I mean, I don't, y'all have to tell me, right? Myron exposed the downfall of women with viral clip. Arrogant chick gets humbled for thinking that she's the prize. it's an overall packaging problem that they're likely having. It's just the whole Caleb Hammer when he does the financial audits where he's like, this B is doing this wrong. It sort of goes off the edge. So let's get into
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Their biggest problem, I think, that the Fresh and Fit encountered is the Semitic rhetoric that comes from Myron at times. I think that's what really got them in trouble. And I think that's what's going to keep them demonetized with YouTube. I don't see YouTube restoring their monetization ever. And I mean, and it is what it is. Again, you can say what you want to say. Brandon Carter talks about this. A lot of people talk about it. Hey, man, you can say what you want to say, but there are going to be consequences. And in this case, man, like you would rather give up $150,000 a month so you can say negative things about a group in America, about, a religious group, or, say what you want about who runs what. Like I say a lot of stuff about the 1%, but I'm just talking about the 1%. Who's in the 1%? Everybody. It's rich people. You could be black, you could be purple, you could be pink, you could be an alien, you could be an American, you could be whatever. If you got the money, you're in the 1%, and not talk about the 1%. But I'm not going to just talk about black people. I'm not just going to talk about Asian people. I'm not just going to talk about, these people or that people. And I mean, just with the, with the hatred overtone that comes with it. But you can, if you want to do that, you can. If you want to have that conversation, you want to say those things, you can say it. You can say it. I served the United States Army as a paratrooper, man. I went to war to defend the Constitution. The Constitution says you can't say that. First Amendment, bro. Go ahead and say it. But you're going to pay. Right? You're going to pay. And I think that's what got Myron and Fresh in trouble. And again, Fresh is just sitting there like, bro, I'm not even really on that. But they went from calling out, Jewish people, and then they had a sound effect that they would use to refer to them. I mean, it's just like, okay, you're not saying it anymore, but you're doing this thing. And again, the people at YouTube, they're watching. They're watching like, okay, you want to do that? Okay, well, we're just going to take your money. But again, I think that's a bad decision from YouTube, but they don't care. They owned by Google, man. Google has more money than God.
Article 4, right? Exhibit A. First warning was from the Oshkosh commentary, yet monetized. Okay, so what, they were monetized? Warning, Myron X was criticized public figures, Jaceline Akash, for clips discussed. Hundreds of channels covered the identical topic and signaled out with harassment, warning, removal. Now, something that could happen with this, right? He's talking about the Myron Gaines X side of things, which, yes, other people were talking about him, but you can't point whataboutism. This has to be a sole independent argument where we did no wrongdoing, right? Like don't point at other content creators. That's sort of a sort of a no-no. Okay, so this is specifically talking to the Myron X channel.
Yeah, but can't you point at other things and say, hey, man, these people are doing what we were doing and they didn't get in trouble, or these people are violating the same rules, but they're monetized? I think that's fair. I think it's fair. Right? It might not, it's not going to do you any good, but I will definitely point that out, because just now, again, YouTube just doesn't want to come out and say, we don't want these guys. That's all they have to do. Like, we just don't want you on the platform. We're not going to pay you. Fine. You know what I mean? We're going to let you say what you want to say, but we're not going to let you make money. Just come out and say it. And then take it a step further. We're never going to let you monetize yourself. Like, we are willing to sacrifice the millions and millions of dollars. We're not going to let you get that money. We're not going to take the money. Fine. But they won't come out and say it. Brother Dino Dinosaur is in the building. What's good, fam? Yo, man, what is going on? What's going on in your part of the world, man? What's going on in the UK with behind this Epstein thing, man? Like, he got a prince, can't call himself Prince anymore. Is the prime minister in trouble? Like, will the prime minister have to step down? What's going on over there, man? Like, this is wild. Yeah, it really shows what's going on again. What the elites are doing, the 1% of the 1%, like how they move, right? And you look at this, did you guys see that Pam Bondi thing when she was, on Capitol Hill? That was crazy. That was crazy. I'm telling you, Donald Trump does fancy himself as some sort of dictator, some sort of king, some sort of noble, and he's learning that America doesn't like kings. But anyway, let's get back to this.
Okay, yeah. Don't point to other content creators. Don't point in other areas. Don't do that. Okay, 5. Exhibit C. Did I miss one? Hold on. Exhibit A. Am I going am I going crazy here? Section number 4. Exhibit A. It's 5 now. Okay, fuck it. We're going straight to C. Exhibit C. PBD podcast external links are hypocritical enforcement. July, Fresh and Fit hate speech strike for linking Nick Fuentes' Cozy TV in the description after we cleared by YouTube to have him in the show. How did he clear? After cleared by YouTube to have him on the show, how was this cleared? I would be really curious on that aspect of it, right? Because now that's what you want, right? Like, hey, we were approved by YouTube. Don't just say that. Like, are any of these articles showing the proof? Okay, that's where the link was. So where was the proof? See, in this aspect, you want to show after we were cleared by YouTube to have him on the show. Contrast, PBD podcast has been monetized. Interview. Okay, so now again, that's another whataboutism aspect. Videos are still live and monetized. Clear inconsistencies.
There are inconsistencies there, and YouTube's clearly come after Fresh and Fit. And more to the point, they're coming after Myron. Right? Again, they're coming after Myron. So something like that, when you talk to YouTube, say, "Hey, we want to have this individual on our show." Like, bro, I don't care what anybody's paying, man. There's no way you're gonna sit me in a room with Nick Fuentes. That's just not gonna go right. I'm not even gonna do that. It's like, nah, nah. But that's what they wanted to do, right? That was their platform. That's what they were doing. They get permission to bring him on, and then YouTube gets him because they linked his platform in their description. To me, it's like, okay, that's, again, you got YouTube people saying, yeah, y'all could do that. And then you got another group of people who are like, well, we didn't say you could do that, so we're going to pull you can't be monetized. When someone doesn't like you, when you got a group of people who are working against you, I mean, it is what it is. Cody, that's hilarious. Yeah, man, the Dow was over 50,000. Are you going to turn around and apologize to the women who are victims, who were, subject to this horrible treatment? They were as children. Are you going to turn around and apologize to them for, having to go through what they go through? And Pam Bondi's like, the Dow Jones is the Dow's over 50,000. Dude, again, man, this administration is done. Done. I mean, Trump's poll numbers are so low right now, bro. You would think it can't get any lower. Just watch. And this latest thing with the job numbers came out. Oh, 170,000 jobs created. Oh, these numbers are so great. Everybody who watches that sort of thing knows those numbers are going to get downwardly revised, right? The Wall Street were expecting half that number. So they like, oh, it's more than double what we were expecting. And then you looked at the revisions from the previous year, from a few months ago, and you look at those revisions like, oh yeah, this 170 number is going to go way down. I think when they revised that January number, I would not be surprised if that thing gets revised down to a negative number. So it'll go from 170,000 jobs created in January down to like negative 20,000. I would not be surprised. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Let's keep going with this.
Yeah, so that's another whataboutism. That's really weird. You want to have an independent, like, literally that whole section right here is after we were cleared by YouTube. Fresh and Fit hate speech strike for linking the cozy in the description after we were cleared by YouTube. Not sure what that means, if they're talking about the back end when you upload when you upload it in a YouTube Studio. It does like a check for verification to make sure things are ad friendly. That doesn't count. I don't definitely get more descriptive on that. Section 6. Yeah, Exhibit D. Where's Exhibit B? Am I missing something?
No, you ain't missing nothing, man. It's fresh.
I don't use Twitter too much, but
it's fresh,
like
bro.
After A comes B. Okay, anyways. Exhibit D. Similar debate channels fully monetized. Oh my god. This is enough.
One of the things with Myron and Fresh, and I would tell them this all the time, like, bro, they were making that kind of money. They really should have brought in at least one professional who really understood mainstream media and kind of understands the kind of people who are making decisions at a place like YouTube and the people at Google and all that kind of stuff, right? Just bring in one consultant, just pay them the fee and have them break everything down to you. maybe they did. I don't know, but that's something I certainly would have done. Hey man, take some of this money and bring in a pro. Bring in a pro. Just bring in a pro that's going to watch your stuff and just tell you this is why this is happening. If you continue down this path, this is what they're going to do next. Right. And it's like, well, how do you know? Because I called my people over at YouTube and they told me. So, and just to have an insider. I don't know if they did that. And then if they did do it, did they do it too late? You want to get that information beforehand. Yes, bro. Yes, I did see that with the Russians were paying American podcasters. That makes sense. They were, you got Russian bots, they're paying podcasters. Some of those podcasters never recovered. I think Timcast was on that list. It was a lot of people that were just pushing that message, and they, take the money. If the Russians came to me and wanted to drop $50,000 to get me to put out something, on the business side, you're like, oh, this company's coming and they just want to put out this message that seems harmless. But the street side, they be like, nah, man, what do they want for that money? What do they really want? Who are these people? Do some research. Where's that money coming from? Right. But there were plenty of people lined up to take that bread. I mean, and it is what it is. FYI, you needed to hear this guy this week. Howard Lutnick, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, was a neighbor of Jeffrey. Oh, yeah. That dude was out there saying how he would never be around Epstein. He told a story about how him and his wife went to Epstein's crib, and there was like a massage table, like right there in the middle, like just didn't even look right. And old boy's like, yeah, these kind of massages you want. And he was like, yeah, that guy's disgusting. I would never be with him, never go around that guy. Now, Lutnick was saying all that stuff because he's an insider, and he knew he's like, oh, we ain't coming off of these documents, so I'm good. This information is never going to come out. And then the information came out. Lutnick was probably shocked that Trump signed that bill. Like, why would you sign this bill into law that forces the Department of Justice to give up all these documents? And Lutnick donezo, but he's still there. Didn't have to, he's still there. America's like they want his hide, but he's still there. It is what it is. And Cody, man, bro, when you get into that, nah, man, they were children. Right, there were kids in there as young as 9 years old. What happened to a lot of these girls, man, was disgusting, bro. So nah, man, I'm not saying that there weren't grown-ups being used and being paid for their services. Man, I'm talking about the kids, which are in the documentation, bro. There's some horrific stuff in there. It's to the point where, like, I can't even read it. You want to talk about getting your blood boiling? That right there, absolutely disgusting. No, what happened to those young girls? Damn shame. And those people, those 1%ers, knew what was going on, right? And they covered for this guy. And even after the guy got arrested, charged, and got this sweetheart deal, they were still doing business with this man. And you see how this administration and this Department of Justice is doing everything they can to keep these documents from getting out. They say there's like another 3 million documents out there, bro. Right? And it just, well, you got like Congress is going to war just trying to get them to unredact the names of the guys who were involved. I mean, it's just crazy. Yeah, you're right. It probably was zero jobs. Like I said, it's probably negative job growth in January. We'll see. And then Cody is saying, I don't know, DL. Pretty sure YouTube just find or create a way to get them. It was inedible. You're right about that. You know what I mean? Like YouTube, if YouTube doesn't like you, they're gonna get you. If you're a small channel, it's easier to get them. Once they broke that 1 million subscriber mark and the kind of money they were bringing in, YouTube just didn't like their message. That point blank period, like kicking the girls out, saying all the crazy stuff, whatever. YouTube just didn't like that message. They were definitely going to find a way. They were definitely going to find a way. And just to close, I mean, we should do a show about what's going on with these women who were abused, and this administration trying to cover, because that destroyed MAGA. That the right, America's political right, has been just fractured. Ain't nobody gonna heal that. When Marjorie Taylor Greene came out, against the administration of DOJ on this topic, I'm like, wow, that's huge. And you see where that's led to now. So many lines being drawn in the sand politically out here. And you look at like Trump right now. If you are a Trump-backed candidate and you're trying to run for some sort of office in America, hang it up. There are people who are just walking away. They're just like, Republicans like, no, what? I'm just not even I'm going to drop out of this race, because they know it's over. it's over. They might resurface in 2028. It's just like, bro, it's over right now. But kids were abused, sure, but that's not what there and a lot of the professionals were consenting, not and above age, but were claiming to be victims. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. Once you have the young kids involved in this situation with that island and what was going on, once you got the young kids involved, bro, to me, it doesn't even matter about the grown ups who, and yeah, there are people out here who want to change their story. There are people out here like, oh, it's my opportunity to change my life around or whatever. I ain't want to get into that. Kids, 9-year-olds. There's a story about a girl that allegedly had Down syndrome and was on that island. It was underage. And what happened to her, according to these documents, bro, the guy should be stood up against the wall. Just keeping it 100, bro. What he did to this child, the guy should be stood up against the wall. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. That son right there, not gonna budge on that. Not gonna budge. You know, you going after these kids, and then you have some Republicans like, oh, well, they're like 17. You know what I mean? Yeah, 17 and a half, 16 and a half. Yeah, try that with my daughter. You guys never see my face again. You'll be talking to me over the phone. Someone will have to hold the phone up to the microphone because I'll be sitting down, bro. I'll be sitting down. It just, when you bring kids into it, bro, it just changes everything for me. But again, another conversation for another day. Another conversation for another day. Let's get back to this.
Another whataboutism. This entire structure. Okay, so for example, if you ever get demonetized off of YouTube, if you ever get demonetized, terminated, don't say this channel is also doing it too. What you have to do is solely argue your cause. I'm making transformative content. I'm following your rules. This is how I edit. I don't use reused content. Like, that's what you have to do. YouTube doesn't play the whataboutism game because it's the house. YouTube is YouTube. That's just what it is. Exhibit D. Similar debate channels are fully monetized. Channels like whatever podcasts. Yeah. So now he's just pointing. They're just pointing the finger. This is one of the worst ways of saying that, because now what? What if YouTube's like, oh, thanks, we'll demonetize these other channels too? Like, what like, would that also work in your favor? Despite unequal treatment with identical content being monetized, even though we shifted to type. Yeah, see, they didn't shift to financial topics. Am I missing something?
Nah, they didn't shift
it. I remember
Myron and Fresh used to, maybe Fresh is talking about Money Mondays when they would talk about building credit, buying properties, repairing credit, investing in Bitcoin and stuff like that. That was part of their platform. You had Money Mondays, Womanizing Wednesdays, and then you had the call-in shows on Fridays. And then every day, I believe, early on, they had, the after hours show. So they were doing stuff. So maybe that's what Fresh is referencing here. Again, Myron and Fresh should have invested in a consultant early on, and maybe they would have been able to avoid this. But having said that, if Myron is on someone else's platform putting on a sheet and, like the KKK and doing the Roman salute and saying all these negative things, YouTube is going to come for you. It's just simple as that. It's just as simple as that. I mean, you look at what's going on with, is it Goldman Sachs? Like, I think one of Goldman Sachs' top lawyers, I believe, is under pressure now. And I think there is like being fired or have been fired over the Epstein thing. So, it's just like, if you did it, it doesn't matter where you are or what you do or where you did it at. People are going to hold you to account. And, again, Fresh is just frustrated. It's like, damn, man, we're making all this money. We're doing so well. And it's all gone. And, it's probably never coming back. And it's not as if Fresh can like, okay, I'm just going to start my own platform over here and I'm just going to do it on my own, because Fresh&Fit was Myron and Fresh. Myron was the networker getting in the guests and doing that sort of thing. And then, I'm sorry, Fresh was out there networking, doing his thing, getting the guests in there. And then Myron was the guy who was the anchor, and he was the guy that could get the rage bait going. He's kicking the girls out. And then he's also putting out information. He's just kind of doing his thing. So Myron was the face of it. And, Fresh was out there putting in the work and getting the guests that they needed through his networking skills. to split them up is going to be, really hard. Like Myron's doing fine on his Myron Gaines X. He's doing his thing. He's found his crowd. And Fresh is just kind of floating around trying to figure it out.
Fresh and Fit content of being when they had Ben Mala on the show, right? Like I loved that kind of content, but going to latest,
right? Ben Mala, Fresh made that happen.
Right here, how to grow your channel, easy money with AI. So they do have it in there, but they immediately tried to fake it and just went back to uploading what they do. So right now, this video, right? The most recent video, 19 hours, Myron gives guests a reality check about her unrealistic dating standards. That's not financial content. And you're talking about this tweet, which was uploaded as of like an hour ago, right? So having something like that is a complete mismatch of like the aligned of what you're trying to say. Even when we shifted to financial topics, you have to stay on brand. Because if you were to say this entire channel is now financial advice, men's, cologne, kind of stuff, but that's not the case, right? If we were to go to live, would we see the case? I mean, I'll let you guys decide. I don't know. Like, if I were to say a quick branded look at this, would you say it's a financial channel? Yes, it has financial topics sprinkled in, but understand what you're looking at is not a financial channel. Okay, so the Jan 26 update allows full revenue on non-graphic controversial discussions, precisely what are past flags under old rules. Okay, so what, they're just showing other content creators who are monetized?
Yeah, like they're going back and Fresh is looking at people like Pearl and they're looking at whatever podcast. You're looking at all these other podcasts that basically took their format and just ran with it. And their comments like, well, look, Pearl got her monetization back. Look, you guys never went after whatever podcast. It's exactly what we're doing after hours. I get where Fresh is coming from, but again, it's you got to get back to what happened. Like, bro, this didn't happen overnight. This was a buildup. This was a slow buildup. And I, just looking at the YouTube side of it, pretty sure people were saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And like I told you guys before, the time that I was on there, the last time I was on Fresh and Fit, when I actually got interviewed, we're sitting there and the producers were talking to Fresh saying, hey, Myron put the KKK hood on again and was doing this and that. And Fresh was confused. He said, no, that happened, before. That happened such and such time and da. And it was Big Mo like, no, he did it again last night. And Fresh was like, no, are you serious? And Mo was like, yeah. And at that moment, Myron walked in and Fresh said, hey, did you put the hood on? And Myron was like, yeah, I put the hood on, but I was on so-and-so's platform, so it's not a problem. Fresh went ballistic. So you got one guy like businessman. And now this kind of makes sense to me. Fresh was the one working with YouTube trying to get them monetized. And, it's like, okay, we're doing all this stuff now. To Fresh's credit, Myron didn't do it on their platform. Myron didn't do it on his platform. He didn't do it on Myron X. He did it on someone else's platform. I think it was Sneako's. It was Myron, Sneako, and that one stupid dude. I forget his name, but it's like, Myron's like, oh, it's not on our platform, so we're fine. And Fresh was like, no. So this is probably what Fresh is talking about. And then so now Fresh is looking around, it's like, man, there's other people doing stuff, but no one's putting the hood on, bro. We got brother Michael in the building. What's good, fam? Are we back? Cool. I haven't talked to Myron and Fresh since we had, the fallout with the city groups. And, there was just a split there. But I haven't been to Miami that often since that happened. I've been kind of doing my thing here in Tampa. And I haven't bumped into Fresh. I don't have a problem with Myron and Fresh. And I'm fairly certain they don't have a problem with me. It's just that thing went sideways. And, we talked about it on that stream we did as to what happened. And I learned a valuable lesson. No, Fresh is not cut. Fresh hasn't cut loose from Fresh and Fit. He's still there, but Fresh is trying to find a way to get to that $150,000 a month. I mean, Fresh, like I told you guys long ago, Fresh is the business mind. He's always been the business mind. He's like, yo, let's keep this rolling. And it's really hard when you're trying to get something done. It's like, man, the rest of the team isn't on board. If everyone's pedaling a different direction, man, the boat ain't going nowhere. So, I mean, it is what it is. The Canadian comic, what happened to him? I'm not sure who you are talking about. The Canadian comic, I don't know who that is. The Canadian, Auburn Preach were in comedy, and I think they both were on stage. I never saw them perform, and I talked to people about them. No one I know has ever seen them perform, but I think they started out in comedy. But anyway, I was thinking of Zorka, is that his name? Zorka, something like that. That dude, it was him, Sneeko, and Myron did the thing. And every time Myron does that, they get in trouble. I mean, and it drives Fresh crazy. I mean, the thing at Vendome that just happened with, Andrew and Tristan Tate, that clavicular, what a stupid name. That dude that hits his face with a hammer, that guy, who just got arrested and is facing charges in Arizona. Arizona, yeah. So, and it's funny too how they doing him. The criminal justice system, like, man, they caught him. Allegedly, he had like a prescription tablet, like one tablet in his pocket, and that's the possession charge. And bro, normally that's not even a thing. The fact that they up that charge, he's got felonies, so he can't even leave the state right now. Him, Sneeko, Myron, they're in the van. They're playing the song that what's his name made? Kanye West made about the short mustache dude. And Myron's doing a salute or whatever, and they get banned from all of the restaurant groups basically in America. Fresh was upset about that. Fresh was talking to Michael Certain and Rollo Tomasi on that Access Vegas platform when Fresh told what was going on. He's like, bro, I went in the van. And when that news first broke, I was talking about it. I was like, yeah, man, the reason that group was able to get in the Vendome in the first place is because of Fresh. And, they go into the club, and then again, Sneeko, Myron, and whoever else, probably those two, have the DJ play this song. DJ plays the song, just whatever, trying to accommodate the VIP. The DJ might have lost his job. That story said 3 people allegedly lost their job with Vendome over that. And I mean, it's just like, I can feel Fresh's frustration. Like, why do you keep doing this? Right. And then on Myron's side, he's probably saying, freedom of speech. He was like, bro, why are you just throwing away tens of millions of dollars so you can do a Roman salute and say negative things about people? Why, bro? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, man. But to answer your question, man, yeah, it was like that Zorka dude, whatever his name is. I think it was Zorka. That guy. I met some stupid people in my life, man. But that dude, think of the dumbest, that's that trope of the dumb blonde. Think of the dumbest blonde, the dumbest person you ever met in your life. Now 1000x that's Zerka. That dude is empty-headed, man. I don't know what happened to that guy, but that guy is stupid. Stupid. Sitting around listening to him hurt my ears, man. It was one of those, like, somebody make him stop. I literally had to get up and leave and go to the other end of the table because the guy was just stupid. He was talking to Adam Sosnick from Valuetainment. I just left and let Adam and his people was doing. I'm like, I've never heard such. It was so stupid. For a moment, for a moment, I'm thinking, is he trolling? Like, is this dude just on one? Nope. He was 100% serious. The stuff that he was saying, it's like, man, this motherfucker crazy. y'all everywhere, man. There's too many of y'all. Cody, there's too many of y'all Canadians, bro. Y'all everywhere, bro. You know what I mean? John Zerka, bro, I met Zerka. That's somebody that, man, I know. That guy is stupid, bro. That guy is stupid. It's, unless he's changed over, I guess I met him over about a year or so ago. Unless he's changed, and that guy's dumb. I can't be around dumb like that. That's, Y'all know I'm a networker, bro. I can pretty much sit down and talk to anybody. I got up and walked away. Like, I don't even want to hear this guy. Like I said, man, you think of the dumbest dumb blonde, that trope, the dumbest person you could ever think of, Zerka's 1,000 times that. But yeah, man, like again, but for the record, never had a problem with Myron and Fresh. That thing that happened with City Groups, that that went bad, but it didn't. It was nothing to do with Myron and Fresh. Behind the scenes, man, like I said, Myron and Fresh were nothing but respectful to me. I returned the favor, absolutely. I even apologized. So I'm like, hey, man, it wasn't supposed to go this way. This was terrible. This is what happened. It is what it is. I made my decision and I stuck with it. You know what I mean? That's just I made a command decision. But I never had a problem with Myron and Fresh. And like I said back then, like it's just a matter of time before I bump into them dudes. I'll be living in Miami here in a couple years. So it's just a matter of time before I bump into them. I promise you that. And like I said, I've never had a problem with Myron and Fresh, man. You know what I mean? You talking about Zerka. Like he was funny in the beginning. He's like, yeah, but the gear messed him up big time, bro. The stuff, when I saw him, he was high as a kite. Dude was high as a sidelight. And just like I said, was nothing there. Like this dude. You know what I mean? And it was funny because we were all together in one location. Then we went to another location. Fresh dipped. Like it's like Fresh didn't want to be around that. So you see the difference with Myron and Fresh. Fresh is out there networking, doing his thing to protect the business, to protect the brand. And then Myron's just doing what Myron does. And to lose all that bread, but at the end of the day, Myron and Fresh, you could probably honestly say that Myron and Fresh are millionaires, 2 or 3 times over by this point. I mean, no matter what, they're going to be good. The only people who will lose out in this would be their employees. But anyway, let's get back to it.
As with public monetization options, meaning that they're getting super chats, super thanks. They have memberships or a public storefront, something like that, right? Number 7, Media Matters flagging potential violation of executive order. Oh God. Okay, here we go. This is where the comes and like initially when he talked, I think it's in section 1, he talks about targeting conservatives. What you have to do is you have to outline what your content is. What this is tying to is like we are left or right. We are a political channel, right? The first line is saying you need to reinstate us because you're targeting conservatives. You're politically aligning yourself. Your channel upfront niche should state what your outlined purpose is for. What's your niche? Say we help men, and this is unfairly, unjustly targeting us. Don't point blame. Don't say YouTube's losing out on money. Say this is affecting our livelihood. There's right ways and wrong ways about doing this. I don't know who restructured this. I've helped many small content creators argue against their demonetization process. And I'm really hold on.
Yeah, Fresh did that. Sometimes you get frustrated, man. You just want to fire something off. And I mean, it is what it is. Brother Penny in the building, what's happening? Good to see you. Brother Dino Dinosaur, Miami and not Columbia DL. Right. Yeah, I'm moving. Okay, so here's the deal. My daughter's gonna graduate high school here in a couple of years. So when she graduates high school, my plan was to move to Miami regardless. And my daughter decided she's gonna come with me. So that kind of changed my plan a little bit. I'm still going to Miami. But my thing was I'm gonna be in Miami, I'm gonna get a place in Miami. And then within 3 years, I'll probably have a place in Peru or maybe Uruguay. And I'll kind of, bounce back and forth. So I'll spend time South America. I'll come back to the States for a little bit. Then maybe I'll go over to Europe for a little bit. And then maybe I'll go over to Asia for a little bit and just kind of bounce around. That's the plan. So it's going to start in Miami. I was never going to move to Colombia. The Passport Bros jacked that up. Passport Bros did a lot of damage, man. They don't realize how much damage they did. They did a lot of damage. You know what I'm saying? And Brother Michael, man, you are in love with that girl, man. Do we need to find this woman for you, bro? You are in love. Do me a favor, find out what episode that was on Fresh and Fit. Let's watch that episode. Let's get her Instagram, man, and let's see if we can slide in her DMs, man. Maybe get you a coffee date with her, bro. Because every time we talk about the after hours of Fresh and Fit, man, you bring up this woman, man. I ain't mad at you, bro, but I remember who you talking about. Brother Michael trying to holler, man. He ready to holler. But yeah, man, I remember her, bro. I remember her. What's good, man? We got Tyrone in the building, man. What's happening? Uh-oh, wrong button. What's happening, fam? Good to see you. Oh, here we go. Tyrone in the building, man. So, Fresh just got frustrated and he put this thing out, man. That's all it was. He got frustrated. Again, if I were talking to Fresh, I would have suggested, hey, man, invest a little bit of money, man. Get a pro. Get yourself a consultant, a pro consultant. Get someone, because those people are going to know everyone in that mainstream media. Yeah, this is a political play. Yeah, they don't like the conservative content. They certainly don't like, talking about the dark side of female mating strategies and stuff like that, like what women tend to want and how women are moving today. They don't like that. Right? They really don't like the anti-Semitism that comes from Myron a lot. And even though, to them, they might think, oh, this is just playful. Nah, they're looking at this like, man, this is a problem. So yeah, YouTube is not going to let you get that bread. You're going to have to do a lot of work. And Fresh was trying to do the work and he's got frustrated. Like, man, we doing everything you asked us to do. And yet you still won't give us a shot here. You gave Pearl a shot, you're not on whatever podcast, you're not on these people over here. Even Rolo and Michael Sertan, like, man, they're doing the same thing over there. You're not on them. And, Fresh is just frustrated. I would be frustrated too, man. Down $150,000 a month on average. And that's just YouTube money. Again, that's not to count the other revenue that's out there. Because think of all the money they're making now. They're still doing all right. They got to deal with Rumble. They're doing fine. They got bread. They're bringing in some money. But they will be bringing in that plus $150,000, $200,000 a month with YouTube and the associated YouTube revenue. I'll be mad too, man. I ain't lying. I'm like, shit, man. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, you're right about that. But here's the thing, man. If you have a business and you making millions with the potential of making tens of millions, you gotta be smart. You gotta be smart, bro. You gotta think about it. And again, Myron's cool with it. Believe it or not, Myron's cool with it. Like he chose that First Amendment free speech hill. He's ready to die on it financially. He's ready. Like, all right, I'm good. I got my money. Fresh is like, damn, bro. And this is just me looking at this. And again, I told you guys a long time ago, I'm like, Fresh is the business mind behind that operation. He still is. He's a networker. He's talking to people who make big money. He's trying to make real moves. But I mean, he's kind of stuck right now. He's kind of stuck. And I mean, maybe they're making $20,000 or $30,000 a month. Still great. Every month. Over $300,000 a year for your business, man. That's great. Almost $400,000 a year if you're making 30 grand a month. That's great. But they would have been making $200,000 a month, bro. Think about that, man. $200,000 a month. That's insane. You're looking at $2.4 million a year. It's a lot better, right? And that's what Fresh is looking at. Fresh is looking at that like, damn. Right? Damn.
Really upset. There's no exhibit B. Let me know.
Get off of that. There's no B, man. Get off of it. There's no B.
No, he didn't comment. Okay, whatever. Okay. Anyways, Media Matters flagging potential violation of Executive Order 14149. Okay, 2023 Media Matters report explicitly named Fresh&Fit for monitoring on YouTube and was formally submitted to Congressional Act. Yeah, because they were, I believe, called. There was like videos of them, right? Like in Congress. It was crazy times. Exerting substantial coercion, pressure on third parties such as social media companies to moderate, deplatform, and otherwise suppress speech. Now, I'm going to have an open conversation with you guys. Demonetizing is a form of suppressive speech. I don't believe that these guys should be demonetized. I don't.
Me neither.
YouTube needs to be way more clear with how they try to demonetize you, deplatform you, delete your content, terminate you, and like upcharge you on random old policy changes. That's
I agree with that 100%. Let's continue.
Completely a no-go. So don't think that I'm against these guys. Like their channels definitely should be monetized, right? Like YouTube was fairly unjust for for not very clearly outlining what's going on and just state it. Like, hey, no, you clearly this video alone is like hateful topic. It is what it is. But don't play whataboutism game as an appeal. YouTube loosen moderation according to New York Times. Why would you say according to New York Times? YouTube loosen moderation according to New York Times. Don't say because of this other news article, YouTube loosen moderation. That's not how this works. Anyways, Section 8. YouTube.
It's funny. Dude just doesn't understand how Fresh communicates. It makes sense to me. It's like, according to the New York Times, you know, Fresh just put that in the wrong spot, you know. And again, he's just cutting and pasting and whatever. Damn, man, I wish Fresh had got himself a media consultant, bro. I really do. I really do. Like this right here, Cody. I don't agree with that, man. When Fresh was making the big money, they were really just doing dating, right? They were doing Money Mondays. They were doing, womanizing Wednesdays and talking about how to, get women and, how to dress and cut your hair and wear smell good and how to run game and what kind of game, right? Remember those days? The doggy game, the cold approach and all that kind of stuff. And then of course, they had the Friday live shows. The politics didn't come until later. Myron, in my opinion, just my opinion, Myron lightweight crashed out on the political thing, the First Amendment thing. That was a crash out. You see how much money it's costing them, man. That's a crash out. So they lost in the beginning, and they had some very loyal supporters who were very generous, with their donations and were very supportive. And I noticed, it was like 18 months to a, 2-year span there, like a 1.5 to 2 year span. I'm noticing guys are just drifting away. Like the money guys. You had some other guys coming in, but when the hate stuff began, the people that they picked up were hate filled, but they were brokies. It wasn't like you getting a bunch of, guys coming over, and to my knowledge, dumping $500 super chat so they can hear him say something negative about you name the group. Yeah, and Fresh noticed it. But again, I could be wrong. It's just my take on it. You might be right, man. You might. Like, like maybe that topic, maybe that audience brought in the money, but if I'm reading your chat correct, I don't think so. Maybe Rumble was behind Fresh and Fit exit from YouTube. Nah, I mean, Rumble wanted Fresh and Fit. Rumble went after a lot of conservative, content creators, and they really wanted Fresh and Fit, and they got them. Like they opened up talks again through networking or whatever. And I think it was Andrew Tate who set that up. And Rumble came with a really sweet deal for Fresh and Fit, and I'm pretty sure that deal is paying dividends for Rumble right now. Like I have a Rumble account. I'm gonna have to start uploading to Rumble as well, because I do have Rumble. I'm gonna have to start doing that over there. But now Fresh and Fit has all their people going over to Rumble, and again, the money they're making now, I don't know how much they're making, but I threw that $30,000 a month out there because that would be good. I don't know how much they're making. But Fresh was really pleased with the deal they got from Rumble, and I think that deal kind of set them up. Like no matter what, they're good. I know he was talking to Organic about that deal on Organic's show, and Fresh didn't get the exact details, but yeah, man, it was way better than 8-figure deal from what we could gather. Kind of like the hints that's being thrown out there. So it was a really good deal. You know what I mean? You talking about 8-figure deal. That's sweet. So I don't think that Rumble was there trying to like steal them away from YouTube. I think Rumble was there as a safety net. Say, hey man, come with us. We got you. Come over here. We'll take care of you. And I'll say one thing about Myron and Fresh: when it comes to anybody who comes to their rescue, they'll stay loyal. So I doubt if they would ever leave Rumble, even if the YouTube thing were to turn around. And Myron talks about YouTube all the time. It's like no one monetizes like YouTube. I talk to people who are getting into social media. They talk about TikTok. They talk about Instagram and Facebook. And like, oh, I'm making all this money. I'm like, bro, whatever you're making, you can make way more on YouTube. YouTube pays the best. I think Elon Musk just made an announcement that he's going to start paying more for content creators on X. Because even Elon Musk realizes, like, man, we got to pay these people if we want them to come over here and really be serious about, their content creation. So, but Instagram, TikTok, bro, you got to get so many views over there. You need millions of views just to kind of start to put a dent in it. And it is what it is. So, but yeah, man, like it is what it is, bro. I think that, yeah, that it, we're talking about their policy. Yeah, their policy is intentionally vague so they can get rid of who they want to get rid of. Talking about YouTube, you're right about that. And it's not just Myron and Fresh, and it's not just conservative content. There are a lot of people on YouTube like Wi-Files. I'm a huge fan of Wi-Files. If you guys haven't checked it out, I'll be shocked if you haven't checked it out. But it's really good, guys. If you haven't checked it out, like he really covers, some really crazy. Matter of fact, I sent Cody an episode, I think yesterday or last night, I think. He was talking about DARPA. Now, the Wi-Files is a huge platform on YouTube. Dude's getting a bunch of YouTube money, but he has a huge Patreon following. His supporters really support him. And he did this episode on DARPA. And guys, Cody, look, Cody was putting me on what DARPA is doing and sending me things. It just really blew my mind. It kind of burned my eyes. And it's like, oh man, it's like the government's watching me now. Thank you, Cody. Like government's watching me now. But Wi-Fi did this episode, and the guy did the episode. And I'm sorry, I forget his name, but he did this episode, and he thought that YouTube was going to get rid of him because he was talking about DARPA's ties to, to the internet, like, and Google, and to technology in general, and what now is what we call social media. Like, they're like DARPA was on this way back when, and it's because of DARPA we have these things. And old boy thought, he's like, man, I think they're gonna get rid of me. I think they're gonna not, put him in the swamp, but they're gonna like delete his channels and all that. It never happened, thank goodness. But bro, crazy, crazy, crazy. And again, hey, if you're on Facebook and I'm not responding to your messages, it's because I have to do something with Facebook's permission so I can see what you're posting. I don't have a window up, so I can't see what's going on Facebook. So if you are watching this and I'm not responding to you, I apologize. I will fix that error. And then next time we go live, I will be able to respond to your messages. So if you're over there on Facebook, welcome. I'm DL Saint. This is That Really Want to Know podcast. And we're over here on YouTube. If you want to come over to YouTube and make some statements, please do so. I Really Want to Know podcast on YouTube. But yeah, man, I'm with old boy. Myron and Fresh should not be demonetized. None of these other platforms should be demonetized. It is a form of suppression. And if they're going to do it, if YouTube is going to do it, then YouTube should give you clear reasons as to why they did it. But YouTube don't have to, man. They don't have to do it. Not until they get some competition. I hope one day they get some competition. Let's keep going.
YouTube's CEO, bastion of free speech, claims are contradiction. Now, this is what you need to do. This is how you should have initially targeted. This is mismatch with your own alignments, right? Okay, so CEO described YouTube as a bastion of free speech. This, why was this so far down? Why is this in section 8? Because here's the thing, right? Number one will get the most views. So this has to be the most hard hitting. You are affecting us financially. We did nothing wrong. We are still actively being suppressed. And this is against YouTube's CEO's updated policies. Boom. Like I don't know. I feel like ChatGPT could have fucking helped you out with that. I don't know. You could pay me. Right? Okay, so this is exactly what you needed up front. He is further from the platform stands for freedom of speech, freedom of expression, no gatekeepers. Right? Like this is what you needed up front. Anyways. Yeah, because this is not going to get, this is 3,000 views. What's article 1 get? Yeah. So like it's a night and day, 200 to 3,000. No one's clicking this far down. So if you guys like this content, give me a quick like or a sub. We are pocket watchers on this channel. You're not gonna shame me into pocket watching. I love conversations like this. Okay, last but not least. Okay, this is gonna be a doozy. Let's crack it. A 3-year campaign to silence Fresh&Fit and conservatives on YouTube. Oh my God, you ended it off wrong. Why are you doing this? Fresh and Fit has 0 active strikes. You don't need active strikes because you had them to okay. Yet YouTube denied monetization in 2026 by importing 2 old harassment warnings from non-submitted Myron X just 2 days before the 2026. Okay, yeah, this is all wrong. They're trying to confuse the public that don't know about YouTube's backend copyright system. This violates YouTube's own policy. No active strikes. No, that's not how this works. You were previously kicked out of the program, and they have no rights, regardless if you have active strikes. Okay, review your channel as a whole. Singular, no cross channel import. No, that's not the case. They already stated for harassment. Channels lose monetization when they violate. Yep. Policy says channels, not creators. You are a brand. Whenever you create a YouTube channel, you are a brand. That's why you can't be banned on one platform. You guys are very familiar with, oh, he's banned on Twitch, so we can't post this person on Twitch. You're very familiar with that process. So like not understanding the circumvention policy, yeah, circumvention is only for post restricted evasion. Myron X predates the 20, no, because they can now say channel 1 is cut, every channel that spreads from, regardless if it's before or after, is gone. That's just how that, I mean.
I mean, I get what he's saying, and I hear what the point Fresh is trying to drive home. But again, it boils down to now they're reaching. You know, when people start getting into the rule books and they start pulling out obscure rules, it's like they just want to get rid of you, man. They just want to get rid of you. It's simple as that. Just say it. I think just, hey man, just say you want me out of here. Just tell me now you're never gonna you're never gonna remonetize me. Just tell me. Instead of doing it, you know, they're doing the way that they're doing it. And now, Cody, I will not be making any videos about DARPA. I'm telling y'all right now. You ain't gonna get me disappeared, Cody. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Yeah, Bitcoin. I haven't checked Bitcoin today. Anybody, maybe Brother Pitney's still in the chat. Where's Bitcoin right now? Last time I looked at Bitcoin, it was like 66,000 and some change. I know it had been hovering around 70, and everyone keeps saying it's gonna go up, it's gonna go up. I think it's gonna go down. I really think that it's gonna go down. How low will it go? I can see Bitcoin going sub 10,000. But hey, if Bitcoin gets that low, I will definitely be picking up some Bitcoin. But my thing with Bitcoin, I would never go crazy on Bitcoin because I don't like the idea of the blockchain when we have AI. I'm sorry, it's nothing that humans can, unless AI creates the blockchain. But it's just like there's always going to be a smarter, more powerful AI that's going to be able to break the blockchain. And my thing is, has someone already cracked the blockchain and they're already just kind of, it's like infinite money glitch for real because they cracked the chain. I don't trust Bitcoin, but if it gets sub 10,000, I'm buying a few. I'm gonna buy a few Bitcoin, just hold on to them just to see what happens. Ethereum too, because there's definitely going to be some more ups and downs with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is gonna crater, but then it's going to bounce back on the other side of this recession, maybe light depression that America is headed towards, and it's going to affect the whole world. It was at 65 yesterday. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, track and trace, man. That's where we headed. That's where we headed. Let's continue.
Okay. Warnings punish protected commentary criticism, which is exempt under public interest. That's not that's not what that means, bud. That's not what that means. Okay, YouTube has documented a clear pattern of selective targeting. They're not going to deny that. Identical content fully monetized on dozens of channels with no warning and no. Yep. I mean, it's YouTube's games, right?
Yep.
Contradicts the CEO. See, that's what you need. I feel like I don't know. I feel like AI had to write this for him. It just goes back and forth to something that's very specific, not specific, very specific, not specific. And I don't know. I feel like, right? Because Fit, he was law enforcement, so he should know how to read. Yeah, when they detail O plans in preparation for planning. This pattern aligns with disproportionate enforcement against conservative Rumble affiliated creators. You weren't even on Rumble when you got demonetized. You were forced to make a Rumble, right? Because Yeah. Not, anyways, I'm not gonna.
Nah, I think they were on Rumble.
As of
I, I
February,
think I think they were already on Rumble. They hadn't struck the deal with Rumble yet, but I think before they got demonetized, they were already messing around because they were trying to be on Twitch, um, Rumble, YouTube was the big one. Yeah, I think they were on Rumble already, but then when the Rumble deal came, that's when they went all in. Um, Bro, I don't have any North Korean friends. Maybe I need to make some. Is that where they're doing all the mining over there? Are they just taking every computer they can find in North Korea and just mining Bitcoin? Um, yeah, Cody. Yeah, me and Cody, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were on Rumble, bro. They were already on Rumble. And again, it's what Fresh is doing. Fresh has got a lot of information out there, just kind of, just kind of vomited out all this information. And yet, this is why you need a media consultant. They can go over this stuff and put it together for you, get it nice and neat, and then even show you how to post it. Okay, this is how we're going to post it. This is, here's our strategy. This is how many days it's going to take. This is how we're going to get the word out. But I think Fresh just got frustrated, man. He just got frustrated.
26, Rumble's ongoing antitrust litigation against Google alleges ad tech monopolization and suppression. Now, YouTube definitely has that. YouTube, which is powered by Google, Google owns one of the largest ad like networks available. So yeah. Rumble is quickly understanding why YouTube is even a thing. Twitch is upheld by Amazon. YouTube is upheld by TikTok. No, YouTube is upheld by Google. TikTok is upheld by Tencent. Every one of these platforms costs a lot of money, and Rumble's like, Rumble's hurting. I bet you if we go look at stock analysis and we take a look at Rumble's finances, they're gonna realize that we can't do this for long. I mean, even Kick, right? They're upheld by stake. Unless YouTube provides direct contact regarding a plan, swiftly reinstate monetization within a timely manner. Okay, so we seek prompt resolution via standard channels. Immediate action is requested. Okay, see, like this is too wordy with too much fluff. This is all fluff. 9 tweets of fluff. Blocking the #1 super channel in America hurts YouTube's bottom line. That's a rounding error. $2 million. They could lose 10 million. They don't care. They don't care. So you have to bark up a different tree. You should say you're financially impacting us, the small content creators who come on, sell me the dream. We await your prompt response on this matter. Contact or DM. Okay, so who'd you
Bro, they added Donald. They added Donald Trump, right? President of the United States at POTUS, at the real Donald Trump. Wow. That's kind of funny, the quartering and all that. They had him on their platform. Um, Brother Dino, I think they were already on Rumble. I could be wrong. Like, no, they had to move to Rumble. They got demonetized. They were making money. They were starting their own thing with the city groups. That brought in some money. You're right. That brought in a lot of money and the potential of more money because there was a lot of guys coming in, a lot of supporters, and they would be super chatting and stuff like that. So when the guys made a chat on, if you were part of the city groups, if you put up a chat, it didn't have to be a super chat. They would highlight it, and they had that going on. But I think they were on Rumble. I could be wrong, but I think they were already on Rumble. Myron and Fresh were always about getting on, every platform they could. So, Instagram, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, all that, whatever. But I could be wrong, man. Well, the reason they got demonetized, and it was Rumble to the rescue because Rumble came with some money, but I think they were there because once they got demonetized, it was like, bro, the only way to make money would be like through Cash App or through some other form of payment. And they would, hey, if you want to donate, go to this link. They were doing that on YouTube. But I mean, it's neither. I guess it's neither here nor there. They got the deal now, but I want to say they were on Rumble. I can't remember who pushed them that way, but someone was like, hey man, you should go on Rumble. Yeah, and yeah, Cody was there. Like they were moving to Rumble while Monetize to say more risky stuff at the effort. Okay, yeah. They wanted to go and say that crazy stuff. So like, okay, we're gonna start on YouTube. Okay, everybody go over to Rumble. I do remember those episodes. Everybody go over to Rumble because they would actually stop the episode midstream on YouTube And then they would say, okay, go to Rumble. So you couldn't hear, if you were watching on YouTube, you couldn't hear what they were saying. You could see them moving around in the background, but it was all blocked. You couldn't hear it. It was muted. And if you wanted to hear what was going on, you had to go to Rumble. I do remember that. I do remember that. And like, so you watch the downfall. So you already know, I take your word for it. I will concede the fact because I didn't really watch the downfall. Not this time around. I didn't. I was just kind of, I was moving on. I saw where they were going. I was moving on. And, you know, the after hours, the quality of guests that they were bringing, like the girls that come on after hours, there was no real conversation to be had there. It was rage bait. It was stuff that I just didn't. You know, it was fuel for the black pillars. For the doom and gloomers, they loved it. But I was like, there's nothing really here for me. And then I would still watch the Money Mondays, and I would watch interviews, like the one-on-one interview if they had, you know, if they had Andrew Tate or if they had, you know, whoever. I would watch the one-on-one interview. But I when the downfall began, I was already kind of checked out. I just couldn't. I wasn't into it like that. But I'll take your word for it, man. It's like you watch their downfall. They were even pushing for net donations when YouTube ended. Yeah, 100%. And without YouTube, they couldn't capture the big money like they were capturing. Like even, you know, without YouTube, there's no way you're getting that 150,000, you know what I mean, a month. It's crazy. Crazy to watch that, man. It's sad because I ain't, like I said, man, I ain't got a problem with Myron the Fresh. I don't like Myron's politics at all. You know what I mean? But I ain't got a problem with him. I definitely wouldn't, you know, it's so easy for us to sit back and say, I would never do that. I would never screw that up. I would never crash out like that. I wouldn't fumble that type of bag. But you never know, man. Something can happen. You could do something in a split second, boom, you done changed everything. So I'm never gonna say I wouldn't screw it up like that. But I would be very shocked if I did that way. And again, my big thing with Myron the Fresh was like, man, they needed a little more organization at the top. They needed someone in their organization that knew how to handle the media. That's what I think they needed looking back on it. Like you needed basically an adult in the room, someone who can really help you with that and at least point out what you're doing. So when the hammer does fall, that person will say, hey man, I told you. That's what y'all paid me for my opinion. I gave you my opinion. I gave you my professional advice and you guys didn't do it. And this is why you got demonetized. So that sort of thing. But anyway, let's listen to the last little bit here.
Tag. Who'd you tag? Who'd you finish this off? You tag the POTUS. Okay. At the Real Dawn. Okay. Dr. Disrespect. What the fuck? Okay.
The tape.
Mr. Beast. Steve will do it. Roberto Blake. Hey, listen, this Roberto Blake. If you know, you know, right? But you know they're missing somebody. Why didn't you tag Team YouTube? That's one thing. Hold on. Actually, let's go back. Let's start from the beginning. Did they tag YouTube at all? Okay, so you started off with a tagging of Team YouTube. Did you end? Okay, every one of these should be at Team YouTube. Yeah, and you ended it without even tagging Team YouTube. Okay, I mean, if you want to say that, no, we tagged him once and that's good to go. Why tag Roberto Blake? There's like Roberto Blake's gonna be like the same thing as me, right? He's gonna try to help you out. Yeah, I don't. This man, I don't know. Either way, if you like these kind of conversations,
that's what's up, man. Shout out to dude, man. Let's give him a Don DeMarco for that. I'm definitely gonna reach out to this brother. I'm definitely gonna reach out to his brother and see if we can't do a collab. I would love to interview him and just, you know, pick his brain financially, like what's going on in America. Bro, I'm telling you, you know, things about to get crazy over here. Like the defecation is about to smack the oscillator over here in America, man. A lot of people gonna be hurting. It's about to be bad. It's just, I remember back in the 70s and 80s when I was a kid, like the mid 70s, late 70s, early 80s, man, it was bad. I think we had it for that. Even Brandon Carter, like he's calling for like depression type, you know, he's like, you know, he mentioned in one of his streams, it's like, yeah, man, I think we might be looking at 50% unemployment in America. I'm like 50%. I mean, the Great Depression at its peak was like 25% unemployment. Like if we get 10, 15% unemployment in America, like it's over. 50%? Like 50%, bro. Honestly, 50% unemployment. Not sure if America will survive that. I'm not sure if America will survive that, bro. 25% at its peak, because like 25, 27%, maybe 30%. I think America could maybe squeak by that, but 50% unemployment, it will become the Badlands. If you got it, you ain't gonna have it for long. If you ain't got an army protecting it, it's gonna be the Badlands. So, but anyway, I mean, I do see something coming. I think it's gonna be worse than the Great Recession and maybe a slight depression, not as bad as the Great Depression, but a depression. I think we might be headed to that, especially with AI. AI is hitting the white collar workforce hard. Next time we get together, maybe we'll talk about that. Yeah, Myron's talking about buying condos and crypto. I wouldn't buy crypto. I wouldn't buy condos in Florida right now just because of the insurance issues down here. And then you're also looking at the association thing, like the state is trying to break associations in Florida, which is also bad. You got a lot of assessments down here. I would definitely not buy condos today, right? I wouldn't buy them today. I would definitely keep my eyes on certain properties, certain buildings. That's what I'm doing. I'm watching the Miami market like a hawk, right? There are going to be some deals. But I won't pull the trigger until I figure out what's going on with insurance. If you're buying a single family home, insurance in Florida right now is so expensive. It could be more expensive than your mortgage. But if you got cash to buy a condo right now, you're going to get right now. There are properties down here. I'm seeing properties that have marked their asking prices come down like some $200,000 or more, and they still can't move the property. This is just the beginning. So we'll definitely come back and talk about the markets. You guys know I like talking about that. We'll come back and we'll talk about the markets down here. Say Myron's pushing crypto. Fresh still has his networking group. I wonder how that's doing. I hope he's doing well with that. I hope he had a really dedicated group of networkers. Guys who are coming in there wanting to learn how to network, investing in the group. And I hope that's doing well. At Fresh and Fit, they have their brand. Their brand is going to be okay in the sense that there's always going to be dudes out there, looking for what they're pushing. Even if it's just coming down to dating, just when it comes to where to put your money, buying property. I'm surprised Myron is pushing condos. He's always talking about buying homes, multifamily homes. And if you can get a multifamily home, there are great deals out there, especially like in the Midwest, Ohio, Illinois, where else? Tennessee was good, but that market's starting to turn right now. There's a couple places where you can get yourself a good multifamily. Get you a 4-family. You live in one, you rent out the other 3. You're looking at, positive monthly income if you do it right, and you got a place to live, so you can stack up some money. Basically, people are paying for you to live in your building. But a condo, I don't know about buying a single family condo in Florida today. Now, I don't know where he was talking about buying a condo. There's some markets out there that are probably still good, but the American housing market is headed for a fall. It's going to be a serious correction. And hopefully next time we get together, that's what we're going to talk about. George Gammon is talking about it again. We're looking at what's going on with these numbers coming out of Washington. No one's believing these numbers, the job reports and all that. And we know the revisions are coming. The downward revisions are coming. The big thing that no one's talking about in America is the housing market. It's starting, there are cracks in the housing market. And the biggest thing that I'm concerned about are American banks, like the small and medium banks. These are the people who are holding the loans on these commercial real estate projects and, a lot of these mortgages, and people are starting to walk away. George Gammon was just talking about that yesterday. So definitely, man, we might even do that later on tonight. I might jump on tonight, do a Lit Saint episode. We'll talk about housing. We'll talk about dating. We'll talk about politics. Maybe I'll do that tonight, man. I'll get myself a Hennessy, sip on a little bit of Hennessy, and have that conversation. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. Um, so yeah, man, people are underbidding. I mean, 30%, yes, with property right now, man, on buildings. Right now, the American real estate market is, like I said, man, let's think of a big hurricane, the big hurricane. And you know, when a hurricane hits, they talk about the outer bands. We are in the outer bands, right, of this financial crisis, whatever is coming to America. Like the outer bands are starting to hit us. You know, it's gonna get nasty, and then we're gonna get to like the eye, and it's gonna calm down for a little bit, and then it's gonna get nasty again, and it's gonna be over. And it's probably gonna take a couple years. That's what I think is gonna happen. You know what I mean? Simmons 8826, what's good, fam? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Yeah, I think they should get their monetization back as well. You know, bottom line, I think they should get their monetization back. I don't think they should have been demonetized in the first place. My thing is, when you look at YouTube, you look at this thing. I believe in capitalism. Let people put out what they want to put out, and the market would determine. And obviously, the market was absolutely buying what Myron and Fresh were selling. You just look at how much money they were making, and the powers to be, or there's some factions within YouTube that just didn't like it, and they wanted to stop it. And that's what it's all about. If YouTube had competition, this never would have happened. If there was a legit competitor to YouTube, and people say, "Oh, Rumble," and all these other people like that, no, that's not even, bro. That's nothing. Like a legit, if someone, if a multi-billionaire decided to drop, $5 billion or so, or maybe more, and actually take a run at YouTube, right? Just because they wanted to, like some billionaire got mad at Google over something, like, you know what, we're gonna just knock out YouTube, and then we're gonna knock out so and so. If that were to happen, YouTube would change their policies overnight. If there was a legit option for content creators, if someone came out that's like really big with a ton of money behind them, YouTube would lose probably 75, maybe 80% of their content creators, just like that. Just like that. And with them goes all of the ads, because all advertisers are going to go where the content creators went. They're going to go where the content is. And then YouTube would be begging platforms like Fresh&Fit to come back, and then going into debt to try to entice them to come back over and try to sign up to like exclusive deals and stuff like that. But YouTube has no competition, so they're going to do what they want to do. That's the bottom line. They absolutely, Myron and Fresh&Fit platform absolutely should be monetized, in my opinion. They should be monetized. I just, that's where I am with it. I forgot to do my little tighten it up right there. My bad. I be forgetting to do, tighten up the shot. But yeah, man, it is what it is. Brother Dino Dinosaur was saying Myron was years back pushing condo and crypto, but he went quiet on them both when DeSantis started the condo reporting on 30-year-old buildings. Yeah, like the whole thing with that, what was that Surfside building collapse down there, that kind of changed when they passed that law forcing associations to actually do the work and put the money into the buildings. They realized how corrupt these associations were and are. And that just wrecked it. The condo market was the spark. And now it's like you got the spark, you see a little smoke, and now with the when people are getting these assessments that has to be paid. So just imagine, like, you're some couple, you guys are retired, you got some cool little spots, condo somewhere in Florida, and then you get a letter in the mail saying that you have to pay, $60,000, $120,000, and it has to be paid in 90 days for an assessment, because we have to do all these upgrades to the property, and this is your cut. Bro, you're done. And this all happens at a time when the market is starting to correct, and the economy is slowing down and people are being laid off. You can't even sell your place. This is the problem. DeSantis is going to walk away. He's going to leave the governor's house, and Florida is in complete shambles right now. Again, people talk about DeSantis, you should be president of the United States. Like, man, that dude's an empty suit, bro. Like, DeSantis and Newsom are bad. I think Newsom is worse, but at least Newsom knows how to politic. Newsom's in the running. I think Newsom will be probably in the top 5 people in the running for the White House in 2028. I think Newsom will be one of them. We'll talk about this tonight. I'm definitely gonna come back tonight. We're gonna do a little bit of drinking. we're gonna do a lit saint episode, man. We're gonna talk some politics tonight. I'll put the thumbnail out here pretty soon, but we'll come back tonight. So hey man, and though, like what you're saying about like the founders of Google, and if you go into like when they were talking about their founding and they were thanking people for helping them get started, they thanked DARPA. That is true. That's true. It happened. Thank DARPA. So man, it is what it is. It's like, look at that code. It's like, just got me demonetized. RIP. It is what it is. Yeah, man. Hey, y'all wilding. Y'all wilding. I gotta go. This was cool. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. But yeah, man, this is where we are. This is where we are. I think that YouTube should absolutely monetize the Fresh and Fit platform and everyone from that matter, and just let the market decide. That's all you got to do. Just let the market decide. So that's that, man. We're gonna wrap this up. I will definitely be back tonight, guys. We're gonna do a lit saint episode, man. We're gonna talk about a little bit of everything. We're gonna talk some politics, man. We're gonna talk about some dating. We're gonna talk about finances. We're just gonna have a good old time, man. So I hope y'all can make it. It'll probably be around 9 o'clock. Let's say 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's say 10 p.m. I'm about to sit down and do the banner right now. So hope you guys enjoyed this, man. Definitely Fresh and Fit should get remonetized. They should get their money, man. I think what YouTube is doing is wrong. And I also think it's going to cost YouTube down the road. At some point, YouTube will have competitors. And when that happens, YouTube is going to lose all of their content creators because everyone's going to jump ship. That's my take on that. Anyway, I got to go, man. I'm DL Saint. This is That I Really Want to Know podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, I appreciate you. I could not see any messages. If you send a message, I couldn't see it. I'm going to fix that issue. So next time I'll be able to see you. Appreciate you. Come over here and join us on YouTube next time if you don't mind. Appreciate a like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends and everybody. And I will see y'all later, man. I'm out. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.
Thanks for watching. Really appreciate your support. And if you like that video, check out this one or maybe that one. We'll see you around. Peace.